Welcome to the jungle, you filthy animals. My name is Baloo the Bear, and here is the Crypto Jungle. We talk about crypto fundamentals, we talk about crypto TA and technicals. So if you want to know when it's a bull market and you want to know when it's bear market, hit the subscribe button. In today's video, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at traditional finance. There is a little bit of a divergence occurring with traditional indices and what we're seeing in cryptocurrency. A little bit of a breakout, fake out potentially happening right now in Bitcoin. So we'll take a look at the smaller time frames, see what we can see in the local consolidation, and then we'll take a look at a few altcoins because everybody still wants to throw their money away and gamble away in the shittiest of shitcoins. So we will certainly serve that appetite. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the king of all crypto. That is Bitcoin. Starting off with Bitcoin here on the daily, we're actually going to zoom in here to this local consolidation. You know, we've had a few consolidations in this bear market here. We had this bear flag. Actually, let's start off with the bear flag. So we had our double top formation. Double top market cycle formation in this distribution. We got our flag pull down to our flag. If we take the measured move of said flag pull, we are coming down to basically this area right here. Pretty good match of the distance here on the flagpole. So wherever we get our breakdown here on this bear flag, we are currently inside of a bear flag right now. Excuse me. Let's say it goes up to a rally of, I don't know, 20, 26, something like that. Let's do 30. We'll do 30 just so that we don't come up with scary numbers. That's not gonna fly. So we're getting really close to the bottom because the bear flag flagpole size is not going to be an accurate representation of a very achievable number. We're not getting that low. I have said some pretty bearish targets here in the past. If I was to guess, I think the lows can either confirm at our local low right here. I think we could get a double bottom potentially occur here at around 17.5. But if we do take another leg down, I wouldn't be surprised for us to check out maybe the 13.5 level or the potential of just below 10,000 at around 9,600 for a place where I'm just buying. Honestly, if we hit those numbers, it's a good time to be a buyer, in my opinion. Not financial advice. You do you. You got to have conviction if you're going to be a crypto trader. Let's take a look at the smaller time frames here on the 4-hour. We've been battling with this bear flag formation for a while. We're seeing continued rejections at the top here. A little bit of a divergence, mild divergence. You can see that we have a high and then a relatively equal high. We don't have a ton of room to test for the previous high before the RSI does overextend and print a divergence. A lot of volume coming in at this one area right here that started basically at the beginning of the breakout. So we'll have to monitor that. This could just be us wiggling through resistance. If we do get through resistance, like we've been saying for a while, ultimately we could get up to the kind of this target range between $28,000 to $32,000 in Bitcoin before getting a rejection. Not enough time has passed, in my opinion, for any meaningful accumulation to take place, even if we just take a look at the local consolidation here compared to the previous consolidation. Let's take out our measuring tool. This consolidation basically took about 76 days from seller's climax to breakdown. And currently we are at seller's climax to, if we did the same time horizon, we would be looking at a potential breakdown around September. So beginning of September, another month ahead of us where not much happens. We could, or maybe we have a bullish August. We have a bullish August that ultimately reverts back down. I'm still bearish. Accumulation takes time. That's basically the number one reason that I am bearish, is in order to be bullish on a bull market, you need to go through some sort of accumulative period. And if we take a very zoomed out look here and just state the obvious, downtrend, sideways, up, downtrend, we need sideways. There's no sideways. Until we get sideways, the assumption is lower levels. I do feel that we are close to a bottom if we are not already at a bottom, so I will say that. But ultimately, we don't have the ability to turn this into a bull market until we transition from down to sideways. It follows that pattern, you know, accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown, lather, rinse, repeat, forever and always. That's just how it works. Composite operator has not had enough time to accumulate. If the whales are not in position, you ain't making any money. No, certainly not to the long side. For those looking to short, let's take a look at the short potential here. Again, I don't, just for those, may as well say, for those looking to short, I don't expect this to happen. Even if we do get a down move, I'm not expecting to get this kind of violent move down. So for that reason, I personally won't be shorting, because I just don't think that there's going to be enough percentage points, and there's not going to be enough momentum, downwards pressure momentum, for me to feel safe with a position trying to hold it for multiple legs down. If you did want to short, my target, honestly, even if we did break past it in hindsight, I think the safe trade would be to take a short down to 17.5. And even then, that's kind of getting greedy, honestly. So for me, I just think that there's too much of a chop potential for right now for me to want to be taking a short. But if I was to take a short, basically I would be looking for a move up to the previous or this trend line between these two tops. So a move somewhere in the vicinity of here. If that trade fails, like if we do get a strong breakout up into the $30,000 range, I would be watching for some sort of distributional structure to take place before shorting the LPSY on the break of the ice. All right, let's take a look at the DXY, see what the DXY is doing. Dollar still rallying, still wanting to continue, but we are seeing a lot of divergence here down in the RSI. We'll probably go into a holding pattern here, get some sort of consolidation on top, an overtaking of the support range, or overtaking of the resistance, now flipping it as support before a breakout onto higher levels. Now, while the DXY is consolidating, equities can do really, really well. Crypto can do really, really well. Risk on assets can perform if the dollar is stagnating in its purchasing power, or its comparative strength against other currencies. So when we take a look at the S&P on the daily, let's see what the story is told over there. It looks like we're encountering some resistance right here at this SR flip. We have this SR flip, so we do need to reclaim this level in order to head up to higher levels. Currently at the resistance point, so maybe we get a rejection back down to the mean before giving another attempt to break past that resistance of the SR. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is wanting to hold support on top of this reclaim. If we do get a rejection, I expect a rejection back down to kind of this area of the support range, kind of giving us our inverse head and shoulders type pattern. But yeah, not a whole lot giving me a ton of confidence in any of these moves to show a ton of strength. This is a good move, but as far as a reclaim, it's not super exciting. It's barely above the level of significance. If we can spend a few weeks here, so if we can close out the month here potentially, then we could rally. But as it stands right now, you know, it's just it's a mediocre breakout, mediocre reclaim of a significant level. We'll see if it holds. It's just on its rally right now. We need to see how things pan out on its rejection, on its reaction rather. Hola to everybody in the chat. Let me know where you're from. What do you guys think? Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Are we gonna get to 30K? Let's hear the consensus out there. Are we gonna get to 30K, or are we going to get a rejection sooner? Are we gonna blow past 30K? Another thing of interest, let's actually put a trading range around this downtrend. If we want to capture what's going on with the trading range, let's pin the all-time high, drag it back down to about there, and let's open that up. So here's the downtrend trading range. Even if we did get a pop, it's not looking like we can really get above that 30 level. So we'd be looking more around 27, 26 as far as this downsloping resistance is concerned. And the way that price behaves when it encounters a resistance is very telling. So if we get a move up to the top of this channel, and we get rejected multiple times there, similar to how it behaved here, it's very weak. It's very weak, and it's not gonna fly, and you're probably gonna get a rejection sooner rather than later, at least back down to the area of the seller's climax. If it does break past it and consolidate under this horizontal level of resistance, then it's showing a little bit of strength. It's showing the ability to at least break out of the downward sloping channel. So that's a positive sign. And then ultimately, if it's able to reclaim the 30K level, then I don't know where it's going to go after that. But still bearish, still don't think that we have the ability to reverse into a bull market. We can absolutely have a bear market rally, but I just don't think that we're going to have a bull market, because bull markets come after long periods of accumulation. Show me a market where that isn't true. Prepared for both. Good. All right, let's take a look at some altcoins. Let's take a look at ETH. ETH looks like it's just printing its automatic rally, really. So we got our seller's climax. And eventually we will arrive to our automatic rally. And then we'll have a trading range. And if it is going to be a successful trading range, we're going to watch the spread decline. And we're going to watch the spread tighten. And then we're going to watch a breakout. If it's more volatile than that, and we see characteristics of distribution, then yeah, it should be ugly, and we could spend a while there while that settles down and calms down. But yeah, let's go down to the smaller time frames. Let's see what it's looking like on the daily. Daily, we've got our bear div printing. So this would be a very good shorting opportunity, although the RSI will kind of invalidate the div. But I still think, you know, as long as the RSI can not print a higher high than maybe this level right here. Let's actually illustrate that a different way. Let's say we get something like this on the RSI. So another just tap of this horizontal range, while at the same time getting a tap of this sloped range. That could be a good shorting opportunity. So do look out for that. Again, full disclosure, I'm not shorting anything right now. I just don't think there's enough downside momentum. I don't think we have the ability to do one of these. I don't think that we're going to have another one of these moves. So because we're not going to have one of those trending, impulsing moves, I only really want to trade an impulse move. I don't want to trade a consolidation, rally, and reaction. If we're going to go and print a macro trading range between $883 and $1,800, I don't want to trade that. It's too much chop. You get, too much consolidation and pause midway through the trading range. It's just too choppy. I want an impulse, because when you break out of a consolidation on an impulse move, you get a lot of follow through and you don't have to spend a long time in the trade and you just make a ton of money. So I just don't see that happening if we do get a breakdown. So because I don't see myself making a lot of money really quickly, I'd rather just watch. I'd rather just be on the sidelines in cash, waiting to see clarity in the consolidations that are developing. Howdy Baloo, what RSI and settings are you using? My standard RSI is on 14 on the 4-hour chart. Looks really different from yours. I'm using stock RSI 14 stock RSI. You're on the 4-hour though, so the 4-hour is going to look different. I'm looking at the daily. Higher time frame signals will always supersede lower time frame signals. Another indication that retail is kind of losing interest, or there's just less capital going in, is we have a little bit of a divergence here. So price is ascending while volume is declining. This is kind of a bearish divergence. It's a kind of bearish divergence because in a rally, you want to see demand increase. You want to see interest come in. You want to see more market participants coming in. And we're not. We're seeing price meander because the order books are so thin that it's easy to move price. This is a hard concept for somebody who is new to understand. A lot of people, when they think about trading and investing, they have a very simplistic approach and they think, money going in equals price going up. And it's not quite that simple, because on an exchange, you have an order book. You have bids and asks. Okay, and the price is when a bid meets an ask. Okay, so when somebody asks for a certain price and a bid meets that price and they execute an exchange, meaning that a seller sells to a buyer, that's when you achieve price. And why that's important to understand is in a bear market, there's just less people. When there's less people, there's less orders. That's what I mean when I say the order book is thin. Okay, there's less people, there's less orders on the order book. And when there's less orders, you have the ability to move price up and down very, very easily. So it's important to note the volume, because volume is telling. It's telling you how many deals have been made. How many adjustments to the price have been made? How many Ethereum have been sold to a buyer? How many buyers have bought Ethereum? Vice versa. How many deals have been made? How much volume has gone through the exchange? And if volume is declining, but price is ascending, all it means is that the order book is kind of, it just doesn't have a lot of sellers on it, but there's retail buying, but the overall volume is not sustainable because it's a small pool of people who is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. In a bull market, you're looking for expansion of people. You're looking for new people to come into the market, sign up for the exchange, blah, 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 come in and making orders, and you see an increase in the volume. That's what is like the number one characteristic of a bull market. You get this increase. Oops. Increase in demand overall. Now, this is a small data set. This is not a ton of volume, but it is declining. So, you know, if this is to turn around, I want to see this downtrend in volume break. So you can just draw a trend line because it's shaped quite nicely. So just watch for the downtrend in volume to break. If it starts to break above that trend line and we continue to rally, then demand's coming in, speculative demand's coming in. But as it stands right now, the price is shrinking. We are encountering a resistance point. The spread is shrinking. What I mean by that, we're encountering a resistance point. We're printing divergences, and the amount of orders going through the order book is decreasing. So to me, it's going to fucking zero. It's going to fucking zero. Short the shit to zero. Watch it break out tomorrow. Either which way, I'm not participating because there's just no clarity. We have nothing that has proved that we have broken a trend. So it is what it is. Let's take a look at Cardano. Same shit, different smell. Different pile of shit. Different bit of garbage. What I do like about Cardano is it's not fucking doing anything. I like that. Because we're closer to a bottom in Cardano than we are in ETH or BTC. There's still speculators holding on to hope with ETH and BTC, and anybody holding on to Cardano has actually given up. They've actually given up. There's no liquidity. There's nothing. There's zero interest. Nobody gives a fuck about Cardano. Cardano ruined your life. And that's a good thing. That's exactly what I want to see. So, you know, we're in a good space with Cardano compared to ETH or BTC. I think, you know, if ETH or BTC take another leg down, I think we're actually quite close to the bottom here in Cardano. We could take another leg down, but structurally what I'm seeing on these high time frame things is, you know, we can maybe come back down another 10 cents. So it's not the end of the world. Yeah, another 26 to 30, maybe 40% retrace. Anything more than that will require a larger move, which is also a possibility. I could see a large move down in equities. I could see a large move down in Bitcoin. We could see a large move down in other assets as well. Let's take a look at some other crypto trash shit coins. Ape, what's Ape been up to? XRP does nothing also. XRP does, it's an incredibly true statement. XRP does nothing. Sorry, Sean. Just busting your balls a little bit. Let's take a look at Dogecoin. Doing nothing. SHIB. Speculators holding on to SHIB. They want it. Solana is really fucking weak. Got a lot of negative press. It really doesn't function the way it's supposed to. Getting a rejection from the 7 EMA here. I did have this area around $76 as a potential retest, but it's not showing a lot of strength at all. And you know, it's going to take a lot of other market. It's going to take a lot of other coins to rally for Solana to catch some of the tail end of that bullishness. The market doesn't give a shit about Solana. Nobody's market buying Solana, which is interesting because, man, Solana was the darling of the bull market. It's the two darlings of the bull market have really performed quite terribly. It was Luna and Solana. Everybody's very upset about Luna, and if you were a Luna holder, and Solana has just, you know, everybody's almost given up, completely given up. It's interesting. Monero, XMR. Monero is probably, it's slowly becoming, honestly, my favorite altcoin. I really, really like Monero, and I think that Monero will have a very big place in the cryptocurrency economy moving forwards. What that place is will be interesting to see how it develops, because with a privacy coin, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because it's going to give you the best privacy and with the easiest user experience. You can be private on Bitcoin, but it's a fucking pain in the ass. With Monero, you don't even have to know how it works, and you have your privacy. Now, the negative to a privacy coin is if you think that regulators are going to allow you to use privacy coins, not a fucking chance. Regulators will happily try and figure out ways to capitalize on Bitcoin, because they can track it, they can register wallets, and they can tax it. They can't tax Monero. If they can't tax Monero, you better believe it's going to be fucking illegal. And there may be a day, someday in the not too distant future, that holding Monero could actually be a criminal offense in certain countries. That being said, I still currently really like the project, and I like the privacy that it offers its users. Even if you don't know what the fuck you're doing, you are going to be private. And out of all the privacy coins, it's the biggest one. It has the largest community. It's a proof of work chain. There's a lot of positives that I like about Monero. It's going into this, it's been in this long-term accumulation. Almost looks like a reaccumulation here. It's not a very distributional structure, which is interesting because the rest of the crypto market has definitely been in distribution. We did have a blow off top, but the blow off top ultimately resulted in this consolidation that does have some up thrusts, does have some volatility. I would like to see this volatility subside a little bit, but I think it's just a very long drawn out phase A, early phase B, and we could be setting up for a very long accumulation period in Monero. And if that ends up being the case, we can see incredible performance out of Monero in the next cycle. But as it stands right now, it's hard for retail to get their hands on it. A lot of exchanges delisted Monero. It's definitely kind of a subculture of crypto, but an interesting project. What's it doing right now? It's up against the mean. Could go to the top of the channel, but ultimately we're looking at longer consolidation. You're not making your gains on Monero anytime soon. Thoughts on cake? Ugh. I just want to first preface the point that you're going to get a very biased answer from me. And the reason you're going to get a very biased answer is I hate Binance Smart Chain. I think Binance Smart Chain is the most disgusting fucking blockchain in all of crypto. It's disgusting. If you are a scammer, scum bucket, piece of shit, nobody who wants to steal people's money and just exist in the worst capacity form with zero fucking remorse for other people, you're a fucking piece of shit slimeball sociopath, and you're launching a crypto project, you're on the Binance Smart Chain. Guaranteed. You are a fucking scum bucket. You are on the Binance Smart Chain. That's your bread and butter, baby. So with that out of the way, what do I think about cake? Nobody gives a fuck about cake. We're here on the weekly. It's barely above the 7 EMA, going into a long-term consolidation. I don't see anything juicy about it. Just, we're beginning to head up, but volume is declining. Nobody really gives a shit about NFTs in general. Cake is a way for you to get NFTs on the Binance Smart Chain. Not even testing the underside of this support/resistance flip. So the best that you could hope for is kind of a trading range. Well, there's a few scenarios. So maybe we get a rally up to this support/resistance flip, and then we get a rejection, and we kind of consolidate for a while below that area, or We go up to the next support / resistance flip, which is also a possibility depending on the bullishness of the rest of the cryptocurrencies. Reclaim this level and then begin a consolidation on that next level. Do I think we're heading into a bull market with it? No, not a chance. Did I mention I hate Binance Smart Chain? So let that bias affect your own decisions. You should know that I'm incredibly biased. And that's important. You know, everybody, you know, there's no vetting process to start a YouTube channel. I've been in crypto a long time and I have my own opinions on how I think things are going to pan out. They can be wrong. You could have the smartest people talking about blockchain and they can be wrong. You can have the, you know, perceivably some of the least intelligent participants of crypto talking, or of the crypto community talking about what they think is going to happen with crypto, and they could end up being right. We have kind of the known knowns of crypto, and then we have the known unknowns of crypto. So we know what crypto can do and we know what crypto can't do. But what's really interesting and what's really fascinating about the future is the unknown unknowns. The things that we don't know are a problem, that we don't know will be solved in the future, and what blockchain is going to fit that need best. So that's kind of the interesting thing of the way forwards. The reason I bring that up is I just want to make it clear that, you know, these are my opinions. From a TA point of view, this is not doing anything. From a fundamental point of view, based on my observations as a cryptocurrency user and enthusiast, this is not doing anything. Not anytime soon, but it is consolidating. And if the bear market continues for another year and it's able to flatten out and trade sideways, it'll go. When the bull markets go back on, Binance Smart Chain will do very well because you need BNB tokens and you need cake to perform scams. And, you know, scams are big business. It's 95% of crypto projects. So when the scam game is back on, you better believe that the scam chain will be rocking and rolling. Binance Scam Chain. All right, what else we got? Let's actually take a look at BNB. That's one that has traditionally done well during a bear market. And it's looking like we're at the area of a nice juicy short opportunity of this LPSY. Nervous network. Yeah, we'll take a fundamental peek at nervous, but it sounds like, here's the thing, guys. Like, I really want to make it quite clear that bear markets are longer than you think, and fundamentals do not fucking matter. Fundamentals do not matter in a bear market. I would also argue that fundamentals don't really matter at the peak of a bull market. Where fundamentals are truly important is at the beginning stages, or the hints or the inklings of a bull market forming. It's from like phase C of a Wyckoff accumulation forwards, phase C to D. That's when fundamentals matter so much, because not only do you have the momentum returning to the market and the supply has been consumed by the composite operator, but now you're going to have new retail come in thinking they're a genius, researching projects and investing in the ones that they think are fundamentally strong. That's when the fundamentals are incredibly powerful. And understanding how to time your fundamental analysis will make you an incredibly profitable trader. Focusing on the fundamentals today will yield you loss of capital. Doesn't matter what it is. It could be the best. It could be the most innovative project, something brand new, fresh out of the gate, and it's literally going to change the world one day. It will literally be the app that will change the world one day. But if it happens today, you will lose money on it. That's just the reality. That's the ebbs and flows of these markets. Taking a look at BNB, what are we looking at? We're kind of at this area underneath here. So we're in the area of the rejection. Also going to get a rejection off the 30 and the 50 EMAs on alphanumerics. Let's go down to some smaller time frames. Let's take a look at the daily. I like how the daily is my smaller time frame now. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Do we have a divergence appearing? Probably. Yes, we do. We have a divergence on the 4 hour. So as we approach the resistance, momentum is waning, and we're getting ready to turn. But at typical crypto fashion, once you see signs of a reversal, you get shorts piling in an illiquid market. And when the shorts pile in, you can get a short squeeze. So you could get a short squeeze, fake out, breakout around this level before actually reversing back down. So do be aware of that. If you are using leverage, especially in this market, my God, please don't use a lot of leverage, 2 or 3x max. You're in chop city. If you use more than that, you're gonna fucking lose your positions for sure. So please exercise caution out there. You're not in a trending market. You're not in a bull market. You're in a choppy, bearish market. So using excessive leverage is a great way to lose all your capital, so that when we get to the point of actually entering into a bull market, you have nothing to show for yourself and you have nothing to deploy. Nervous network. We'll take a quick peek. Nervous network. I'm nervous in looking at it. Nervous network. A feeling I'm not going to like this. I have a feeling I'm not going to like this. Talknervous.org. So this is a social media platform. Well, it has no users, and this is a website from like 1994. Yeah. English, you get one topic a week. I don't know what language this is. I'm not gonna guess, but they get 3 topics a week, and Spanish have had a total of 127 topics, period. So if it's a social media blog, I mean, it's not performing well. So who gives a fuck? It's nothing. It's nothing with a very large circulating supply. 33 billion with an unlimited supply. Yeah, not for me. Not for me. We can take a look at the TA, I suppose. CKB. But that's really a fucking shitcoin. So, you know, going back to where fundamentals can play a benefit, something like Nervous Network, you're really fighting an uphill battle trying to buy something like this. And this is just incredibly illiquid. Oh my God, look at all these upthrusts. Look at all this wiki bullshit. This is not a tradable thing. You can't trade this. You can't place a stop loss on this. So because you can't place a stop loss, it's a venture capital bet. If you really, really are convinced of the fundamentals of it, I would at maximum put a 1% portfolio allocation to this. At maximum 1% of your net worth. Yeah, it's a fucking shitcoin. It'll go to 0. Oh, it's already at 0. It's at 0.00. All right, let's take a look at the Axie Infinity ecosystem, starting off with AXS. Another shitcoin, rounding at the bottom. There is some active development coming out of Axie Infinity. We're seeing more games come online. These games are going to be introducing burning mechanisms for the SLP token, which will be valuable for the AXS token. So not all hope is lost. Not all hope is lost. They're building. That's the most important thing with any blockchain, period. Are the developers developing? Sky Mavis is developing. We have games coming down the pipe. Will any of those games be really popular? We have no idea. They may not ever become as popular as Axie Infinity was. They also could become extremely popular if they're profitable. But we'll have to see what happens with the whole play to earn narrative, and see if we can come to some sort of conclusion as to how play to earn should be structured. But when they have the entire token economy controlled, it's kind of you're really at the mercy of the developers, and that's not a good place to be in a token economy. So AXS, potential floor, but incredibly low volume. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. It'll probably trade sideways for a while. It might rally up to maybe the 50 before a rally reaction back down. It could even potentially, but not looking probable, get up to the underside of this SR flip at around 45 bucks. Currently at 18 bucks. I think it settles down somewhere around 10 bucks. I think $10 is a nice psychological level for AXS, and it'll probably spend a year ranging around the $10 level. Let's take a look at SLP. Same shit. Same shit. But it has shown itself to have it's really reduced the spread. So the spread is incredibly low. So it's absolutely looking like it's in an accumulation, which for a token where the supply is constantly expanding, this is not a bad thing. The fact that it's this flat and it's an infinite supply token that's being minted every single day, this is not a terrible thing, especially once we start to introduce burning mechanisms from other games. So potentially, I don't know, this could be a good time to accumulate SLP. I don't know. Maybe I'm not gonna buy any SLP. I'll just continue to mine it. But maybe I'll stop selling it for USDC. Slightly off topic. What is the title of the artist in that vibing ass tune you play at the end of the streams? What is that tune at the end of the streams? I don't know. I don't know. I will when I roll the outro, I'll pin it, or I'll put it in here. I think it's called Spinning Plates, Yellow Plates. I don't know. Isaac, Joel Isaac. I don't know. I don't know, man. I just get it from Sound Stripe. All right, what else we got? Let's take a look at a few stocks. I want to take a look at Amazon. Yeah, this is a very textbook distribution here. Amazon is printing an LPSY. Ooh, this is not good, ladies and gentlemen. This is not good. So this is, you know, a lot of people already thinking that we can turn this market around in traditional finance, not based off of this daily chart. That is a textbook distribution. Picture perfect. And we're coming in for our LPSY. So Amazon not looking good. Let's take a look at Facebook, or I guess it's Meta now. Meta same thing. Much weaker though, much weaker. Now Meta has kind of broken the ice, kind of like that. So there's a very unlikely possibility that we rally up. No, forget it. Forget I said that. It's not going to rally up. Huge gap down. Huge gap down. There's a possibility that in the context of a rally, maybe we get a rally up to, you know, where the gap was created. But that would be really bullish. That would be really bullish, and I'm not seeing that. Certainly not coming from Amazon. Amazon looks like shit. What else we got? Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla is also on an LPSY. It hasn't broken its structure yet. It hasn't fallen through the ice yet. It doesn't have a clean ice line. So it does need to break below that level. So if you do get something like this, you know, we have that downward sloping resistance here. So maybe we do something like that and then get something like that. Overall weak, volume incredibly low. Nobody cares. The Fed does have the keys to bullishness. So if policymakers do make it advantageous, they're going to see cash become cheap again, then we could rally. But honestly, the Fed is backed into a corner. They don't have the ability to offer cheap money. So if money isn't cheap, guess what happens? Interest rates go up. Everything goes down. Interest rates go up. Everything goes down. It's just the fact. I've been building a very large cash position for in the possible event of an equity unwinding, which will hurt crypto considerably. But in the event of an equity unwinding, I've been building up an incredible cash position. I actually just liquidated my properties as well, so I don't hold real estate. I'm almost, with the exception of my HODL Bitcoin and some residual DeFi stuff, I'm almost completely out of the market. And I'll probably stay completely out of the market for potentially 18 months before I can get some clarity as to whether the theory of equity unwindings will come to fruition. I think we'll have an answer by the end of this year, early next year. So early Q1 of 2023, I think we'll have an answer. And if the answer is downtrend, then, I'll probably hold to the 18-month mark before I look at opportunities to redeploy. Okay. Yeah, I meant compared to you on the 4-hour. I'm watching like 10-minute in delay. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah, no worries. Do you think the MMs force a rally into the midterms? I don't think that there's that much level of I just don't subscribe to that level of manipulation. I don't think that the market makers, well, first of all, a market maker doesn't do that. There's unless you mean market manipulators, which is more appropriate. But the economy is a very complex thing. And there's many levers that you can pull, but I don't think you can force a rally, especially in a short amount of time. You can create bullishness and you can create incentives for holding equity. And when you create incentives to hold equity, you reduce the supply. And when you reduce the supply and increase demand through cheap money, you get a bull market. I don't think that you can just flick a switch and be like, yeah, we're going to rally into midterms, and then after so-and-so gets elected, we'll turn the faucet off. I don't subscribe to that personally. But if we see some bullish price action in the Nasdaq, and if we see some bullish price action in the S&P, I think we could get that. And then maybe there's a narrative built up around the midterms where maybe the midterms get blamed for a decline. Who knows? I don't follow the news at all because I find that it fucks up my trading. I don't need the news. I look at the charts. Is the chart going up? Is it going down? Or is it going sideways? That's it. That's all you need to know. Don't pay attention too much to the news. I do answer a lot of questions, and I hear things secondhand. If you want to talk to people about policy adjustments on a higher level, then I recommend that you follow Chris Dunn, because he has a guy named Travis who is a phenomenal fundamentals guy. I don't do fundamentals. I do fundamentals on crypto design and protocol design, but as far as economic fundamentals, no, I'm not the guy. I actively avoid that stuff. I actively avoid news. I actively avoid speculation based on global media-driven events. When it comes to that stuff, I rely on the chart. And when it comes to investable potential of a crypto project, I will dive into how it operates, how the protocol is designed, but that's it. That's the extent of my fundamentals. Do you use a specific volume indicators like OBV or OI? No. I'm planning on exiting everything by the end of this year. Just think they might force a rally. Yeah, they might not. I don't think they will force a rally. I don't think you can force a rally. You could influence a relief rally if you offer the citizens relief. So let's say the policymakers introduce a fuel credit. Or maybe they dangle a fuel credit over the heads of people into the midterms. So they say, hey, vote for us. We want to push forwards a food and fuel credit, which, just for the record, is the stupidest, worst decision that could ever happen. And if that does happen in America, you have just become a slave. You are going to, you're already heading towards the path of becoming a slave if you aren't already a slave. But if you rely on the government to fill your car up with fuel, and you rely on the government to put food on the table, you are a fucking slave. So if you do hear of these policy adjustments going out, please do your part in educating the public against something like that. Yes, I understand that gas is very expensive. Yes, I understand that there's inflation affecting your grocery bill. But the best way to handle a market is to not try and influence it. And if you give the keys of influence to government and you let them do it, you've lost. You've lost. And you will be a slave. On that chipper note, what else we got? Why I like living in cheap, corrupt countries. You know what the freest places in the world are? Corrupt countries. I love them. Corrupt countries are the best. Every country's corrupt. The US is corrupt, Canada's corrupt. Everywhere in Europe's corrupt. Every government is corrupt. But the best ones are the ones where the corruption is boots on the ground, like the law enforcement, like the policymakers are corrupt, but there's a separation, and like people already don't pay taxes in these corrupt countries. So there's already a lack of control. But if you have compliant citizens in a corrupt country, that's a bad thing. I'm going down a fucking rabbit hole here. I'm gonna stop. I think on that depressing and negative and tin hat thought, we're going to close things out today. So thank you all for joining in. If this is your first time to the stream, welcome. Subscribe if you want to know when we're in a bull market and when we're in a bear market. And with that, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.